I think when we look at how large this is, right, and what all is in play, then in your view, like how can a shift that is this big outside of people, because the number one answer to everything is at least do your research, do your homework, know what's coming, at least continuously be active. And number two, obviously join an organization that's going to continuously not just educate you, but your community and band together as a community. But outside of those two things, or in addition to those two things, like how can this shift that is already at play then be countered? Like, what is it that people can actually do? And when I say people, we know it's a collective group of people, but collectively then, what can people do to counter this type of shift that's already in the works? Right. The ball has already been at play, especially. And if we already know that if they're willing to talk about this publicly, go on record for it, then it has been in play. And we know it's been in play for a while. And since they are already at a place where they're like, we're going to now tell you what we're doing, what can be done so that this shift can actually be countered?
Yeah, I think that, and the key again, it always comes down to land. And this is why the global south is the key. Without the resource in the global south, this whole thing tanks. You know what I mean? If Africa is free tomorrow, this is not happening. That's period, point blank. If Africa is self-sufficient tomorrow, there's no chance this succeeds. All those corporations lose most of their power immediately. So what does that mean? It means that anti-imperialism is the key position going forward. Like there is zero negotiations about it. There's zero. Because when these countries are self-sufficient, when these countries are able to band together with themselves to offset the sanctions, to offset the hegemony of the West, now the corporations lose the power and the ability to be able to dictate global policy, right? So it always comes with the liberation of colonized peoples. Always comes down to revolution, and we know we're seeing a chance of that. I think, with all the ominous things the West is trying to do. Why is it that they're trying to do this though? Because there is a counterforce being made. You see the global polarity with the network China is doing with their Silk Road. You see with with nations like Syria, Iran, Nicaragua, Bolivia, all these anti-imperialist states, right? And socialist leaning states, like they're forming a block, right? So the countering is already being done by Global South, as always, because the Global South is always ahead when it comes to resistance. So the countering is always is already in play, right? What Westerners need to do, living in the core, and this is why it's non-negotiable to be anti-imperialist, all imperial policy has to be opposed.